This is the main entrance to Doha City Centre, which is basically a great big shopping centre over several floors. You've got every shop and every brand that you will find in any other part of the world, whether it's London, New York, Paris, mixed in with their own local shops that you find across the Middle East. The fans are getting away from the sunshine and into the air-conditioned shopping centre, where they're getting themselves something to eat, buying merchandise, topping up their mobile phones, visiting the pharmacy. There are literally dozens and dozens of restaurants that are serving food from every corner of the world. You need a day just to walk around this place, and I just don't have the patience for walking around shopping centres, but for the purpose of this video I'm going to go around one more time. This time great big supermarkets, Carrefour, the French supermarket Carrefour, which is in every corner of Doha. This shopping centre is, I think, 5 or 6 floors, and it's just shops after shops after shops. And if you're into shopping, then this is the place you want to be in. There's entertainment areas for children, for families. It looks like they're getting ready for Christmas as well. So 2 big celebrations. Football, obviously, football branding, FIFA branding, Qatar 2022 branding is everywhere, but it looks like we've got some Christmas decorations going up as well. So lots of people buying merchandise. Looks like a fire sale. Flags, shirts, balls. Not sure I want any merchandise, but it'd be interesting to see just what the price is for some of this stuff. Sports corner in the middle of, so these England baseball caps. See where they're made in China. And 119 riyals, so it's about £15. Extortionate. Some of the other ones at 69. So you're getting about 3.5 riyals for your pound at the moment, which is the lowest I've seen for a long time. Lots and lots of things going on relating to the World Cup. There are official FIFA shops. There are unofficial shops. Let's see what the prices are. The German shirts, they should be on sale because they've gone home. The Belgian shirts, they've gone home. The Spanish shirts, they've gone home. The England shirts, we're still here. Wales, gone. Mexico, gone. in the host Qatar. Gone, but still here. German and Belgian shirts. Sadly, FIFA's still trying to make millions out of it. Why not reducing the prices? But who wants these anyway? Let's get out of here because it's getting a bit congested. It's typical of every shopping centre around the world. Food, clothing, cosmetics, jewellery. You know what the hell this is? It's like GAC, some sort of Chinese brand car. Looks like we've got a play area for children. Kids enjoying themselves. It's a nice course. I think my 8-year-old would enjoy that. So we'll have to come back another time when the World Cup is done, so we can enjoy all of these facilities. Let's go up and see what else there is. So we've got the mascot. Casper the Friendly Ghost holding the World Cup. It's bizarre mascot, but it's their mascot, so who am I to complain? Last time I came here, just before pandemic, a lot of these new shops were being advertised as going to be open. They look like they are now open. Starbucks to be everywhere. I'm not a big coffee drinker, so as I said, you could walk around this shopping centre all day, not find anything particularly interesting other than the same old shops that you'll find anywhere, sandwiched between lots of Middle Eastern, Qatari, Arab shops. But it's air conditioned, it's clean, and everybody's just going on about their business. So I mentioned in a previous video, so Qatar has a population of roughly 2.6 million people, of which only about 12% are local indigenous Qataris, Arabs. The rest, 88%, are migrant. The largest migrant community here is from India, and then Bangladesh, and then there are roughly 20,000 Brits here, 40,000 Americans, the Europeans, Asians, lots of Chinese, Far Eastern, Japanese, Korean people. They've had some of the bigger contracts for some of these places, shopping centres, stadiums, roads, rail. So there is a strong Far Eastern contingent here. But there are people represented here in Doha from all corners of the globe. And that's what makes it such a fantastic place to be in, because everybody just gets on, everybody enjoys themselves, everybody works hard, takes pride. You know, a lot of these migrants come here, they take pride in this place, they treat it as their own, keeping it clean, safe. And it's important that wherever people go, they respect the local culture and customs, the traditions. If you're coming to work, you know, you abide by the rules. If you're coming to live here, you know, you you embrace the local culture. And we hear it all the time, when in Rome, do as the Romans. But for some reason during this World Cup, it seemed like when in Doha, don't do as the Dohans. And that's disappointing. Because they haven't asked for anybody to do anything extraordinary. Come here, enjoy yourself, enjoy the football, enjoy the culture, enjoy their traditions. Just be respectful of their culture and customs. You know, these rules apply to everybody, not just visitors, migrants. They apply to everyone. And it's not a lot to ask, but we've seen our media, especially our Western European media, has made a lot about some of this stuff. You know, things like the separate carriages for women on the metro. There are priority seats in the London Underground on trains for the elderly, for pregnant, for women with children. They've got the same, and they've gone a step further. So whilst we encourage people to respect the elderly, respect pregnant people, women and children in carriages, you know, give up our seats, it seems like they do that here as part of their culture, and we frown upon it. Just crazy double standards that does not make sense to anybody. The double standards and the hypocrisy has been well picked up now, and those of you watching this video will have heard enough now about how Qatar has been portrayed in the media and what it's actually like on the ground, thanks to millions of people giving their own perspectives of what it's like on the ground. And this video is doing exactly the same. Everybody just going about their business. And that's how it should be. This is a celebration of the world coming together. As you'll see, I've been going around just this one floor. I have absolutely no idea where I am, but it feels like with every turn I'm finding a new avenue to walk up. But it's going back to the point about the hypocrisy and the double standards. It's such a shame. It's such a shame because so many people have been put off from coming here. And yet those that are here can't believe how far from the truth the reality is. People from every corner of the earth coming here, just absolutely having a fantastic time. And I've spoken to so many since I got here. On the bus, on the trains, talking to people. Not a bad word to say. People understand there are rules and regulations, and they're all finding it absolutely fine to abide by them. This is Carrefour supermarket. I've got to go to another floor because it just seems like I'm walking around in circles. But simply put, all it requires is for people to respect, show mutual respect to local people, their customs and their traditions. And the reality is, in a country that's 88% migrant, people bring their own cultures and traditions here. So 12% of the population isn't dictating any particular archaic culture on anybody. Europeans, Westerners, been coming here for years. And let's not forget that Qatar, up until 1971, was in British control. So in 50 years, it's not suddenly transformed into something completely unimaginable or unbelievable. Actually, this is a very Western-friendly country. As I said, there are 20,000 Brits, if not more, 40,000 Americans. Everybody, every shop, every chain store, every food outlet is represented here. So there's nothing unfamiliar about this place. There are men walking around in shorts, in football shorts, women walking around in football shirts, whatever they please. So it's such a shame that so many people have been put off from coming here purely by the lies and the myths that have been spread by the mainstream media, and which have been completely and utterly exposed by social media and people that are here, thankfully. I'm glad I'm here to put my own perspective on things and see for myself and share it with people like you, so that you can see the Qatar and Doha for what it really, really is. There's a truly festival atmosphere here. The branding is everywhere, the flags, the colours, the vibrancy that people have brought from all walks, all corners of our world. It's a coming together of cultures and a celebration of cultures. I don't think we could do it anywhere. And the best of all, and again, this is not a dig at anybody who enjoys a drink or has a drink. Feel free, that's your choice. And there are plenty of places here in Doha that you can do that. But there is a atmosphere here that I haven't seen in football matches in other countries. As I said, I was in the Champions League final last May, and we all know what went on there. The hypocrisy of the French to complain about the organisation. Well, we know what happened in Paris with their organisation. And we know about the double standards and the hypocrisy of the French about women and dress codes here and whatnot. Here's the same French who are offended by a head covering. Yes, French who do not want Muslim women to cover their heads in France, want the opportunity to come here and to bear all. I mean, how utterly ridiculous. These people's arguments and their views have been well and truly exposed and absolutely ripped to shreds. The double standards, the hypocrisy, the morality that they want to force on everybody. Standards, their standards. Here we are. There are 2 more floors to go on this. I will go round just to show you that it's all same in every floor. But there you are, lots of children enjoying themselves. It does look good. It does look good. I am tempted, but I think I may have passed the age limit by quite a bit. So off we go. We're going to get into one of these capsule lifts. But we've heard about so many incidences of countries. Australia is another one. The Australian football team made a video highlighting the plight of the migrants. This is the same Australia which has been mistreating migrants in the South Pacific. People who have sought refuge in Australia but have been shipped into an island in the South Pacific where the conditions have been highlighted as being not fit for humans. And this same Australia now telling us that they care about the migrants in Qatar. Don't get me wrong, there are lots of issues with migrant migrant communities here who've been coming here for years. And some of these issues have been addressed, others need looking at. And they've made changes, they've made strides to improve the living standards and the wages and the conditions of migrants. But it's all relative. We've got to look at each country, how they're dealing with it. And yes, football has been the catalyst for a lot of those changes, and a lot more changes need to happen. But we can't go around, and it's talking actually of the migrant workers. I'm going to have to touch on this because a lot of the migrant workers that come from countries like Bangladesh, and I've got first-hand experience of talking to people and seeing some of these people who are paying unscrupulous agents thousands of pounds to get a visa. So the problem starts not here in Doha, but in the countries where some of these people are coming from. And they're paying human traffickers, crooks, criminals, lots of money to try and get a visa. And then these people are passed on to middlemen somewhere else before they get to Doha. And then when they get to Doha, they're passed on to other agents who look after them here locally. And they organise the work in various sites. And a lot of these, the companies that have organised the work, the construction, who employed the migrants, are actually European, non-Qatari, non-Middle Eastern companies. So to blame everything on the Qataris, they've got rules and regulations in place, but these companies are not implementing these. Yes, you could argue that they've got to scrutinise these, have checks and balances in place to make sure that people aren't being taken advantage of. But the reality is it's a very complex situation. People coming from the developing world and who struggle to settle here, who for many young guys, young men, women who haven't set foot outside their countries before, who struggle to settle, struggle to adjust to the culture, the environment, the weather, the customs, and then there is the work itself. This is a country, a desert nation. It's hot. There's no getting away from that. You can't deny that. It gets very, very hot. 40, 45 degrees in the summer. And these conditions are difficult. And I have spent time in some of these building sites, stadium sites, where as much as you've got people from 50, 60, 70, hundreds of different countries and cultures who come in here to work together on one building site. Not all of them are well versed in the English language. A lot of them don't speak Arabic, so there's communication issues, and you've got to get that across. And then there's the health and safety side of things, which vary greatly. So, for example, health and safety standards in India differ greatly from health and safety standards in Germany, for example. So a lot of these companies have to try and get these people, all of these different people from different parts of the world, to understand and note and abide by these rules and regulations regarding health and safety. And accidents happen. One person dying is one too many. But let's look at some more areas for families and children. But let's look at the construction industry in the UK, an industry that I'm involved with. During the financial year 2021-22, we had 129 deaths at construction sites. A third of those were related to people falling from heights. So a third related to people being involved in accidents involving large machinery. And accidents happen. Accidents happen in every country, in every construction site in the world. People die. And we work continuously to try and improve the situation. And we've got some of the most stringent health and safety rules in the world in the UK. And yet we had 129 deaths last year. We had over 2,500 deaths relating to people who have been exposed to things like asbestos. So, of course, Doha has been under scrutiny. The 6,500 migrants that died. Those 6,500 migrants that died have been across Qatar. And football, the football stadiums aren't the only projects. Haven't been the only projects in Doha over the last 10, 12 years. There's been huge infrastructure projects, multi-billion pound projects in roads, in rail, airports, recreation, hotels. And those accidents and some of those deaths, hugely exaggerated in our media in the UK and across the Western world. Hugely exaggerated. I'm not taking anything away from whether it's 6,500 people or 650 people. The reality is everybody that's died has left family behind, loved ones behind, people who relied on them for their income, for their livelihood. And I'm not in that situation. I don't understand. And I know, talking to a lot of Indians, a lot of Bangladeshis here in Qatar, you know, they've got issues with local agents not paying them for work that they've done, sponsors confiscating their paperwork, etc., etc. Those are at the lower level, and it's so difficult to police. And it happens. It happens in. Is it not happening in the UK, where we've got labourers from Eastern Europe who come along for the day, do the work, and then get paid cash in hand? Some of them are being taken advantage of because they haven't got the right paperwork, or their asylum application hasn't been processed, or they shouldn't be working more than 20 hours, some students, for example, who are. So all of these issues are at play in every country, and yet we've had such ridiculous scrutiny of Qatar and this World Cup, as if none of these problems exist anywhere else, because the reality is they do, and everybody should be working wherever they are to improve the lives of workers, migrant workers, refugees, immigrants, and helping people to fully participate in their host countries. And again, stressing the point about Qatar having only 12% indigenous Qatari Arab population and 88% migrant population. This is a highly tolerant country, a highly tolerant set of people who on the whole value migrants, value immigrants, value the workers, and who want the very best for Qatar, like we do for our own countries. So I've touched on quite a few things. I've shown you around this humongous shopping centre. This is Doha City Centre, they call it. It's just one big shopping centre spread across 7 floors, and I haven't seen anything that I haven't seen anywhere else. This is a great big sports shop. Again, you've seen one, you've seen them all. So I hope you enjoyed this tour around Qatar City Centre shopping mall, and some thoughts on what is happening here and how it's been reported, or how Qatar has been presented to the world by our media, because it's been so far off the mark. It's untrue. In fact, barefaced lies have been told, and thankfully, thanks to social media and people being able to come out here, see for themselves, and to present to the world the real Doha, the real Qatar, that so many people have missed out on coming to, because our agenda didn't suit at this time. It is a real shame, because this football, this mad, crazy football nation, the Middle East as a whole, is a crazy football landscape, and it's only right, absolutely right, that they've had a chance to host the World Cup, and so far they've made a fantastic job of it. And surprisingly, one last point about all the noises coming from certain media outlets, but actually if you listen to the politicians, they know the reality. 25% of our gas comes from Qatar. The Germans have just signed a $15 billion agreement, yearly agreement with the Qataris for gas and other trade. It's crazy. It's crazy. All of these countries, the politics, the politicians all know the reality of their relationship with Qatar and Doha. They come here often enough, but the media seems to want to belittle the efforts, undermine the efforts. Some of it, a lot of it, to do with, I genuinely feel, anti-Arab sentiment, anti-Muslim sentiment, bigotry, racism, envy. Yes, envy, because a small nation like this has been able to put on a spectacular show like this, hosting the world here, and they've done it by spending lots of money. And let's just touch very briefly on the World Cup bids in the past as well, because no country has ever won the World Cup without going through a process where they've had to, we call it gifting, but in Qatar's case it's called bribing. During the 2018 bid, the England bid, we effectively bribed lots of associations across the world. One particular one from the West Indies, Jack Warner, who's gone on record as saying that he was bribed effectively with Rolex watches. David Beckham promising to go out and train lots of Jamaicans in the West Indies. We know all of that, but why so much scrutiny on Doha? It's not perfect by any means, but we have to apply the same level of scrutiny in Russia, in China, for the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, South Africa, Brazil, everyone. Because otherwise, it's very obvious what's been going on here. The lies that are being told to put people off from coming to Doha and Qatar. Luckily, and unlucky for the doom, gloom merchants, Qatar has put on a fantastic show, and the world is here and the world is enjoying it. And I'm in the food court, so I think it's high time I went in and got myself some food, and then it's off to the Education City Stadium for the Croatia-Brazil quarterfinal. Croatia-Brazil quarterfinal at the Education City Stadium. I'm getting all confused. I'm getting my stadiums and my matchups all wrong, but hopefully I get to Education City and I get a chance to watch Brazil and Croatia, because they will make an atmosphere, and they will make some noise, and the Samba boys will be dancing, and I can't see a winner beyond Brazil. So thank you for watching. Do leave your comments, any comments you have on some of the issues that I've pointed out in this video, and stay tuned for more videos.